Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is JEDLIE, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. As always, I am so very happy and grateful that you're taking the time to join us today. We have two wonderful guests for you today. A little later, we'll be meeting Brian Murchie from Canada. He is the author of Zachary and the Plains of Highland. Our first guest will be coming to us from Calcutta in India. She is an illustrator of many, many books, and she's the author of four great books that she'll be telling us today. Her name is Sanghamita Dasgupta. Before our guests come in, I want to ask you, are you looking for a fun way to get into shape? You know, a way to exercise. You know, you're at home, you're working hard with the kids, you want to spend time with your kids. It's really tough sometimes to get to the gym. I have an idea that I think you're going to love. Visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com/hoop, readingwithyourkids.com/hoop. There you're going to find out about our friends from Hoop Nautica. Hoop Nautica has been the industry leader in quality hoop dance fitness instruction and equipment since 2006. And when you visit readingwithyourkids.com/hoop, you can save 35% on all of the great equipment that Hoop Nautica offers. Also, their great exercise videos using those hoops, those hula hoops. And it's something that you can do with your kids. You can follow the fitness exercises online really carefully. Your kids can try to do it and also have fun just hula hooping around. Check it out yourself, readingwithyourkids.com/hoop.
This episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast is brought to you by JEDLIE's totally interactive Magic Circus. Imagine a show where magic, illusions, comedy, music, and inspiration all come together as one. Imagine a show that has helped over 1 million young people and adults to change the way they approach life. A show that has shown people that being kind and respectful is fun. That show is JEDLIE's totally interactive Magic Circus, a transformative show that inspires young people to make healthy choices, be kind, and respectful. To find out more, please visit www.jedlie.com or call 617-833-7063 today.
Joining us on the line right now from Calcutta in India. She is an illustrator of many, many books. She's been illustrating children's books for over 26 years, and she has just launched 4 new books in 2018. Talk about being a prolific author and illustrator. Please welcome to the show, Sanghamita Dasgupta. Sanghamita, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. First off, thank you so much. I know it's very late in Calcutta. What time is it?
It's currently 10 p.m.
Okay, well, thank you for staying up and joining us at that time.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be with you.
Yeah. So the first book we're like to talk. We can't talk about all of your work because there's just so much of it, and time won't allow it. But why don't we talk about start talking about your book, Brian the Kid? It sounds like a really, really fun story. Brian is a goat. Is that right?
Yes, Brian is a goat.
And so what's the story about?
It is a goat who lives he was very lonely, who lives up to the mountains. And one day he met with a fish. The fish came the fish was swimming through the water near the mountains. And one day when they met, the fish talked about his loneliness and all the other things. And then suddenly the fish vanished. After so many days, the fish came back with a gift packet where he has some gift for Brian. And when Brian opened the packet, he saw that there was a little fish whom he was missing so much long before.
Oh, wow.
That fish was his friend. Yes. So the fish came with a gift packet with the other fish, which was Brian's older friend whom he was missing.
Wow.
So I wrote this story in a very rhyming way so that the kids can enjoy the story as well.
Yeah. Do you find, I guess that's kind of a universal thing, that kids really love rhyming stories?
Yes. Because actually I was also a teacher, so I knew better that kids love rhyming and picture books that could be very attractive and also useful for them, so that they could learn easily from that.
Yeah, fantastic. And what a cute story about friendship.
The friendship story, actually, what I said, this is a friendship. Then Brian and the fish whom he was missing, and also the fish whom he met, they all three became a friend. They became a stronger bond. They became a stronger friend, and their friendship bonding is like unbreakable.
Yeah.
And the other, yes.
Well, I was going to say that's, that the cure for loneliness, and because a lot of kids experience loneliness, that the cure for loneliness is friendship. Yes,
the cure for loneliness is friendship. Yeah. I can agree with that.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And now you're a children's illustrator. Do you use the same style in all of your work and all of your art, or do you find that there's some styles that work better with some type of books?
No, I choose different styles because I am working also with some other authors, so I always prefer the style what they want from me. Mm-hmm. I'm working with 2 or 3 authors with whom I am working, and they prefer different styles. Like one of them is looking for the Native American style. One of them are looking for the cuteness of the character style. So the style is completely different on different stories. So yes, I work on different types of illustration.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of your illustrations on your Instagram page, and there is a great diversity of styles.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Now, one of the books that I'm really interested in is, and again, you released four books in 2018 so far. I imagine there may be some more, but the other is the art book of Sanghamita Dasgupta. You're telling me that's a collection of your artwork from over the years.
Yes. This is a collection of all the illustrations which I did. That is on Photoshop, Penstorm Studio, the different types of softwares which we use. We illustrators are using this type of softwares, Photoshop, Illustrator, Penstorm Studio. So I made about 100 types of illustrations by this software. So I choose some of them and make a book on that, so that those aspiring artists who want to become a concept artist or something, so they can pick my book and saw the concept, so they can use their own imagination and create a new one.
Wonderful. I love that idea of sharing your talents and your knowledge with up and coming artists.
Yes, that's my way of thought, to share my knowledge with others so that they can make a new thing and present that in front of others.
Yeah. There's so many. One of the things I love about the children's author community, and that extends to illustrators, is that there really is a sense of community and of supporting each other and helping each other. I don't get the same sense of competitiveness that you find in other fields.
Yes, because I believe in compassionate, but you have to be communicate with each other. If anybody is in need of any kind of help from you, why don't we should help them? It's my duty to help and raise them from their background, and they can do anything they want. If they want to do any kind of illustration, I can help them. That's the main thing of mine.
Yeah.
So that's why this is my book, the art book of Sanghamitra Dasgupta.
Yeah. And you also created a great book to get kids' imaginations running and to get them active. Johnny's Holiday Activity in Johnny's Holiday Vibes, an activity and coloring book. Tell us a little bit about that.
It is a combination of some kind of activities like matching the figures or finding a way of a hen who can way back to his farm, or there are some coloring pages where children can use their imagination and color the pictures, or they can use their English skills and write a letter to Jesus, or their spelling methods, or they can use the number ones. So how many A's are there? So they can count and write the number. So there are many types of different activities, and I just punch them in a single book and make the book Johnny's Holiday Vibes activity and coloring book. So it is a combination of activity, coloring, and also the English portion where children can learn easily.
Yeah. Tell me, you were mentioning that you use different software, and if there's an illustrator out there, a young person listening, or even an older person who would like to start, who's always loved art, and they'd like to start doing art on a more serious level, what would you suggest? Is there a particular software you think that they should investigate first?
If they want to do something, they should start with Photoshop or Illustrator or both, because these two are the main basic software of our illustration side. And you have to do some rough sketching as to do your rough idea concept, and then you can do the final part on the software. And even if you have a paint tab or digital paint tab where you can draw simply, so that would be great for you. So you have to do a rough work, and then you can do your final artwork. So you have your basic sketch concept, and then you can do your complete work.
So you still begin with pencil and paper or pen and paper and do that sketch work the old-fashioned way.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, old-fashioned. First, I always do the rough work, and then I do the final work. So I had my sketch concept where I can just make some differences, or rather then I can do the final artwork on my software.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Now, the other book of the four that you released here in 2018 is called Mac, and I'm looking at the illustration, and Mac seems to be a kind of a spirit kind of character.
Yes, it is. You can say it is also a friendly story. A ghost who is very much friendly, and how he give us a lesson that don't laugh at the people who are very, what can I say, who are very weak or who are very afraid of things. So we should always help them. This is the main message that Mac is giving to the children via his friend, that is a tortoise. So they both are in a friendship bond.
So Mac, the friendly ghost.
Yes, Mac is a friendly ghost.
Yeah. I love that you have this theme of friendship in your original books. That seems to be very important to you.
Yes, because I love friendship, and whenever I have this opportunity to write something for kids where I can give this message of friendship and the cuteness and whatever the social message, what can I say, the social message where children can learn easily that we should be like this one, we should be like very much friendly, we should be very helpful to others. So I just always think of this kind of social messages in my stories.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I certainly support that. We kids need to hear lots and lots of great messages about friendship and about caring for others, and it's wonderful that these are that kids can sit down and learn that these are values that are shared with cultures from around the world.
Yes. That's what I think. That's what I think.
How did you get started in becoming an illustrator for children's books?
Actually, if I want to say, I started my illustrating career at the age of 5.
Wow.
You won't believe that, but I started my illustrating career at the age of 5. At that time, I just only drew some cartoon characters for local papers or for my school magazines or something. So after that, my father, my mother, they always insist me to do something. So after my graduation, I did my course from Aptech, that is in India, Aptech. And then I joined some companies, and after that I joined some comic book stories and this illustration field.
Wow.
So I started my illustration career at the age of 5. So it's a long time.
I guess, yeah. Wow, that's incredible. 5 years old and illustrating. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. But I love drawing at the age of 5. I started my drawing. My drawing teacher came when I was like at the age of 4, but I started my profession at the age of 5.
Incredible. I love that. What an inspiring story for kids to hear.
Thank you so much. If anybody wants to do something, they can do. That's my thinking. If you want to do this, you can do this.
Absolutely. Amen. Amen. Well, tell us where folks can, I know that the books are available on Amazon.
Yes.
Tell folks.
All the books.
Mm-hmm. Tell folks, cause you have, like I'm checking out your Instagram page. Tell folks where they can connect with you online so they can learn a little bit more about you and your brilliant work.
They can join me on my Instagram. That is www.instagram.com creative hashtag creative _art _SHOPPE and _, and then hashtag. That is my Instagram account, and my Facebook account is facebook.com #Sanghamitra Dasgupta 2811. And also they can call me, if they want to call me, they can call me on my number, that is +91, that is India's prefix, and then 9051075046. Or else they want to mail me, they can mail at Tora, that is TORA, small T for Tata, TORA 1986 @gmail.com. So there are many ways to contact me.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to make sure we list those contact addresses on our blog post, so you can check that out at readingwithyourkids.com. I've had a great time speaking with you today. Definitely you want to check out Brian the Kid, Johnny's Holiday Vibes, Mac, the Friendly Ghost, and also the art book of Sanghamitra Dasgupta. Sanghamitra,
yes.
Thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you so much. It's my humble pleasure to be with you and to talk with you and to share my views, my thoughts with others, all the aspiring artists, all the kids who are listening. And it's like a beyond imagination experience of me.
In just a moment, Brian Murchie is going to be here to tell us about Zachary in the Plains of Highland. But before he does, I'd love to tell you about my book, The Great Maritini. The Great Maritini is a story of Sam, an aspiring, well, I like to say aspiring. Lots of people like to say clumsy. He makes a lot of mistakes on stage, and that's really hilarious. Kids love it. And you're going to love the fact that Sam, even though he's making those mistakes, he never gives up on himself. And it's a great lesson for kids to never give up on themselves, because Sam does continue. He does carry on, and he does become the Great Maritini. But it's on a journey from one stage to another that he discovers that the greatest transformation of all is transforming feelings of caring into action to help another human being. The Great Maritini has been called one of the top 7 books that teach kids kindness by childrenspublishing.com, and it has received Story Monsters approval. And I think it's going to receive your family's approval too. You can get an autographed copy of The Great Maritini by going to my website, greatmaritini.com. Joining us on the line right now from Mississauga in Ontario, right outside of Toronto. He is the author of a wonderful children's book called Zachary and the Plains of Highland. Please welcome to the show, Brian Murchie. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you today?
Wonderful, wonderful. So great to have you here on the show. Tell us a little bit about Zachary and the Plains of Highland, please.
Well, the book, it's about a province called Highland. And it's made up of a dozen towns and small cities. And because the area is so isolated, the townspeople rely on airplanes to travel back and forth. The main character is Zachary, and he's the most popular passenger plane in Highland. And the story focuses on basically, it's starts off introducing his daily routine of flying the loop run, which is, taking off from his airport in Grand Valley, which is the largest airport and the largest city. And he goes to every airport in the province, and some of his airplane friends are introduced, like Matthew and Maribel, who are smaller, short-run passenger planes. Winston, who is the largest passenger plane in Highland, and then there's Alexandra, the training plane for the flight school. And it's the relationship between Zachary and Alexandra that I sort of made the main focus of the story.
Great.
And yeah, they share a hangar together, and they have kind of a big sister, little brother bond. And the main part of the story is just between them and their relationship.
Yeah, it sounds wonderful. It reminds me of Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, that was sort of inspired me a bit because that was a book my son really liked when he was younger. And I would read those to him a lot.
Yeah.
And it was kind of because of my kids that I wanted to write the book.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things that's interesting, you were talking about this province where really the only way to get around is by flying. It's not practical or not possible in some cases to drive. And it sounds really kind of out there, but there are actually places in the United States and in Canada and around the world that are like that, where flying oftentimes is the only way to get from one town to another.
Yeah. Well, of course, it's all imaginary. I've
Sure.
been to like schools and that, and a couple of people have called me, a couple of the little kids had called me on it, like, hey, how can they afford to have airplanes and all this stuff? And, it's meant to just be fun, and the whole thought of it.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Do you, so you've gone out to classrooms and talked to kids. Other than calling you out and asking, hey, how do they afford the airplane? What kind of questions do kids have about Zachary and the Plains of Highland?
Well, one kid kind of because how if you see in the book, all the planes have the faces on the front windshield, and one kid's asking, hey, how can the pilot see through the windshield if the face is there? It's like, it's like that's the part that they have trouble believing is not like they're talking or, but yeah, it's cute little questions like that. And if it's younger kids, it's funny because they don't really have questions. They just raise their hands and say, oh, I like planes, or I like, and a lot of kids they really enjoy talking about, like how I end up making the book and how you can become a writer. And all the work that goes into it and how long it takes to write a story. And it's questions like that they really get interested. Yeah.
So is this your first book?
It is the first book that I ever actually put out.
Mm-hmm.
It's been, I did it. It's independently put out. Like, of course, I had to pay for all the costs and all that. But it was a pretty good publisher. They're sort of on the borderline between independent and self-publishing because they do a lot of help with getting it into one of the stores in the like on the websites for Barnes and Noble and Amazon, and in Canada get it on Indigo. So yeah, I'm not when I do my signings in the stores, it's not done on consignment. It's actually ordering through, and they have stock in the stores.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's super. And how has the experience of being an author has it inspired you to start working on new projects?
Well, when I wrote the book, it was, I wanted to become a series. That's why, because it's like the series means quite a bit to me because my son's name is Zachary, and I put him into the story as the main character just because of that. And, like in the book dedication, I dedicate to my son who I read to and to my daughter who I wish I could have read to. That's the actual quote from the dedication. And the daughter was my first child. Her name was Alexandra. That's the other character. And like, unfortunately, she was stillborn. During, so that's also another reason, why I worked in the brother-sister bond.
Sure.
And it's sort of like that that connection to the book is what really motivated me to put it out there. Like it was, I've tried doing other things. I tried doing a cookbook a long time ago I did a cookbook for Fussy Eaters.
Uh-huh.
And nothing ever came up with that, but it was really, there was the connection to my kids that made me think, okay, like, I can't really, it's a lot of money to put this out, but, I've written it. It really means something to me. So I wanted to put it out there.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that, I find when somebody is passionate about a project, that those oftentimes are the most interesting, stories, because the story is filled with that passion. And it's this obvious that Zachary in the Plains of Highland comes with a lot of passion for you. And what a beautiful way to memorialize your daughter and to keep her memory alive and to help your son have as much a relationship with her as possible. If I don't know if that came out right, but you're acknowledging that she was there and that she is part of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just nice to do. Wanted to have something like that.
Yeah.
And and a couple of the characters are, I pull names from other family members, like my nieces and nephews are some of the Plains, and in future books, I was going to bring my wife in as Zachary's stewardess.
Uh-huh.
That was going to be in the next book. Like the next book was going to be about Zachary and like his all of his passengers throughout the day.
Uh-huh.
And I was and I was going to work in something with my grandmother, my mom's mom.
Yep.
Was going to be in there with 4 kids. It was going to be my mom and her brothers and sister, and it's just those little additions that just really makes it more fun to do.
Absolutely. I can see this book living on and on, because I think it's something that your son Zachary is going to treasure, and he is going to, read to his kids, and his kids are going to pass it on and read to their kids. And, you've created a great book that I think lots of families will enjoy reading, but it's absolutely a book, that will be a very special part of your family forever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just great, and it just feels real good when I go out and do the book signings, and I can still remember the first person who bought a book who I wasn't actually related to, and it was just like such a great feeling, because it's like, you're buying it because you want to, not because you think you have to, because you're related to me. It's just, and every signing, it's always like white knuckling until I get that first sale. I'm thinking, oh man, am I going to be here? And there's nobody buying, but there's always someone who comes up and likes it, or somebody who like, at my last book signing, it was a guy, he was about 70 years old, this guy, and he used to fly planes in World War II, and then he was like teaching plane. He was a flight instructor as well, and he said, oh, I like this book just because of that,
Yeah.
And it's like, this whole weird customer base that we can have.
Yeah, wonderful. Now, where do you have a website where people can find you and find out more about Zachary in the Plains of Highland and some of your future projects?
I have it's on Twitter. My Twitter at Plains of Highland, and it's on Facebook, Plains of Highland as well.
Great.
But there's no specific website.
And Plains is spelled like the airplane, Planes, not plains like the territory of land. So.
And it's Highland, Hyland, not like the Scottish Highland.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, I love this idea, and I think folks could absolutely check out Zachary in the Plains of Highland. Such a touching story, and I love where this has come from, and I love the passion that you brought to this project and to this book. So it's wonderful. Definitely check it out, Zachary in the Plains of Highland. Brian Murchie, thank you so much for being part of our show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Derek Hines. Hey, we want to thank Sanghamita Dasgupta and Brian Highland for being here today. And of course, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.